sold out in a matter of minutes.
You're talking about ticket sales. Allow me
Yes.
to correct your question. Yeah, the ticket sold out in 6 minutes. I believe that's a UFC record. What was the last big UFC event? It didn't sell out, I know that. Yeah, what was the 202? That didn't sell out. This one sold out in 6 minutes, and the fight's happening at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah, I mean, of course, that's it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, and it brings pressure. I remember when I first heard that, because I was kind of nervous about the arena selling out, because it's such a crazy time for a fight to happen. But, you know, it did. It sold out 6 minutes, and then I was like, oh, shit, wow, this is real. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people coming, and they want to see me win. So that brings pressure.
So you're fighting at 5 a.m. When are you arriving in the UK, and how are you going to prepare for that?
Yeah, I leave a week on Saturday. I'll land there on the Sunday, 6 days before the event. Easy peasy. I'll just stay on California time. It's easy, you know. I mean, fortunately, all I got to do is to be a lazy bastard and get out of bed around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not hard, is it? I just got to lie in every day. You know, come on, we can all do that. So it's not hard. And really, we're not going to be tired at 5 in the morning. No one's going to be yawning and going, oh, I'm really tired. No, because we're stepping into an octagon. The adrenaline will be going crazy. And of course, my opponent is doing the same thing as well. So all good. I just think there'll be more fights in the crowd than what there will be in the octagon.
You talk about pressure. Is that pressure because you're defending your title in front of your home fans? Do you feel like you have to perform, otherwise they'll be disappointed at you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, of course, you know, I wanted to be champion for a long time. I've achieved that. You want to be a defending champion, and now I'm doing it in my hometown. So yeah, of course, it brings massive pressure. You know, you don't just want to be one and done. I don't want to be a guy that wins the belt and loses it in the first defence. Nobody wants that, you know, and certainly against a guy like Dan Henderson, who owns a victory over me already, I don't want him to be the guy that beat me at UFC 100. That took my belt off me, you know, I mean, that brings pressure. So, yeah, but fortunately I thrive under the pressure.
You just got back from England. What was the highlight of your trip? You took the belt back, you were showing out
Yeah.
to fans. What was the highlight?
Oh, you know, to be honest, it was, just going out there and meeting the British public, to be honest. We went to a mall, a shopping centre, I should say, for the English masses. We went to a mall and did an appearance there, and the turnout was incredible. There were thousands of people there, and the things that people had to say to me were just, it was incredible. It brought a tear to my eye, you know. I mean, the things that people, the amount of people that came over and said, I cried when you won the belt, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, why are you so emotionally invested in my fighting? So, yeah, it was crazy, and hopefully I get to repay some of that loyalty.
Did you hear from the fans at all what their thoughts were of having it so early in the morning?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't spend my life on forums, but you know, I do sneak a little peek in here and there, and it seemed to be a mixed, you know, receivership, if you will. Some people were complaining. But, you know, it sold out in 6 minutes, so maybe the people that are complaining, or maybe they're the people that would never buy a ticket in the first place. You know, there's always those types. Of course, I would have liked it for the UK to be on at prime time. You know, that's what I'd like in my next one. Hopefully we can do that. But also you got to understand the economics of the situation. It is a business. It's a pay-per-view fight, which is predominantly driven by the US market, you know, so unfortunately they are the circumstances, and I think the support is still there. As I said, sold out 6 minutes, that's going to be a record. Tell me who else sold out an arena in 6 minutes? Not one single person on this fucking roster. Not one. Name one.
I can only think of the first Swedish show. I believe it sold out in 4 minutes.
All right, well, apart from that one. Apart from that one.
But that was the first time you said
it. Yeah, shut up. Just eradicate that from your tape. Jesus Christ, Wade, I thought we were friends.
Just keeping you honest.
Yeah, no, that's good, good for you. Step into my office. Any more?
What's it been like, you know, wearing the belt around, just having it, you know, wearing it, being able to just carry it around wherever you go?
Yeah, well, I don't really do that. I mean, as Wade asked, I went to England, you know, with the UFC, and we did a little tour. Other than that, you know, it's I've got a little spot for it at my house. It sits there. It looks good. You know, it brings a smile to my face now and again when I look at it. But really, life hasn't changed. You know, I mean, if life had changed, then that would be a cause for concern. You know, you know, I say it all the time, the sun still goes up, still comes down. I still got 3 kids and a wife. It's still business as usual, still got to train. My kids still give me a hard time. You know, nothing's changed. If anything, it just made things harder because everybody wants to take that belt. So I've got to work harder, you know. But yeah, it's nice. It's reassuring. It's a nice compliment. If I want to give myself a nice pat on the back on occasion, I can look up at that and say, oh yeah, you did good there. But unfortunately, there's still someone waiting in line to try and knock me out and take it.
Getting it was your goal for so long.
Sure.
Was it tough afterwards to say, all right, now I have to reassess and come up with something new to kind of shoot for?
Well, no, of course. I mean, when you get the belt, of course, that opens doors and generates bigger paydays. You know, and that's why we all do this as professional fighters. We want to get in and make as much money as possible. So it wasn't a case of trying to find new goals. It was a case of, okay, let's try and capitalize on this situation. Trying to hang on to it for as long as possible. You know, that's what we all want to do.
Michael, UFC 100, so many people seem to take joy in. Yeah, there you are.
Oh, yeah.
So many people seem to take joy in your knockout loss. Yet in June, so many people celebrated you winning the title. How do you explain the fans' reaction to the difference?
You know, to be honest, I mean, you know, Dana White once said to me, he said, if you don't want to look like a dick on TV, don't act like a dick on TV, which is pretty self-explanatory. But because I was about to blame some stuff on the editing, but Dana did say that, which is wise advice for anybody that ever does reality TV. But you know, I mean, the whole thing was USA versus UK. You know, so maybe I came across as a little anti-American, which isn't the case. Of course, you know, did I talk a little bit of smack here and there? Of course I did, you know. So the storyline going into it was the cocky Brit versus, you know, the nation of America and whatnot. And, you know, that's all well and good. You know, you always need a good guy and a bad guy. And I got knocked out, and good for him, you know. But, you know, I got a chance to redeem that.
Speaking of Rockhold, any thoughts on Rockhold versus Jacare?
Not really. To be honest, I think Jacare knocks him out. You know, I don't think Rockhold's got a chin. I think once you get past his kicks, he's not all that. You know, he's good on the ground. I think his hands are poor. If you go forward and you get past his kicking range, his chin's high up in the air and he's there. You know, I mean, I showed it. To knock his head off is pretty easy.
I know BJ Penn's been around training with Perlo and stuff. Have you been working with him, and how's that going?
Yeah, do you know what? I haven't. No, I mean, BJ's been in the gym. He's been sparring at different times. I've been there, so I just caught the end of some of his sessions. You know, there's a bit of a size difference in him and myself. So yeah, no, it's nice to see BJ in the bike. That gym was designed for BJ Penn, so it's nice to see him there. But no, I haven't had the pleasure of getting tapped out of BJ. No.
Mike, you know Cyborg a little bit. She's going through some weight cutting issues this week. It's been
Right.
kind of controversial. How do you feel about that? What do you think about her situation?
Well, you know, I mean, it's a shame for her, to be honest. You know, I mean, there isn't a 145-pound division in the UFC, which is where she fights. She fights at 145, and you know, for her to be in the UFC, they've said 140. You know, I understand it from the UFC's perspective. I understand it from Cyborg. She's just too big. That's the reality of the situation. She's just too big. I know because she trains in the same gym. You know, I don't train with her or anything like that, but our paths cross, and I hear her talking to her coaches. She's been running 10 miles a day, each and every day. 6 miles in the morning, 4 miles in the evening, as well as her extra training. She's been doing everything she can to make the weight. I think the reality is she's just too big for that weight, you know. But you know, according to Jason Perillo, she will make the weight. She'll do what's necessary, and she'll get it done. So if she does, God bless her. Good for her.
Do you think there's enough women fighters at 145 to build a division around her?
Oh, I don't know. I'm here to talk about what an old washed-up fool Dan Henderson is. You know, if you want to get the finer, you know, nuances on the women's landscape, maybe go talk to Dominic Cruz.
Talk about Fox.
He's the analyst of the year. He's the gobshite of the year.
So there's 3 Fox broadcasters, including yourself, that have the belt.
Yes.
What do you guys say about that? Is Fox taking over?
Oh, no, it's great. You know, I mean, well, up until recently, Misha Tate was one as well, so, you know, it could have almost been 4 at one time. Yeah, it's great. You know, it's amazing. I don't know what that's down to. Maybe just a coincidence, you know. But you know, it's good. It's good. I mean, yeah, it's great. You know.
Is there a special bonus that you guys get?
No, I wish there was. I wish there was. Listen, if anyone wants to give me a bonus, whether it be Dana, UFC, or Fox, you know my address. Put the check in the mail.
Now, DC and Dominic are doing a little commentating as well this week. Is that something you'd be interested in? We're going to see you doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, I do the analyst work. If that's something that comes along one day, then I'd love to try it. But right now, focusing on Dan Henderson. The fight is 2 weeks away, so no disrespect to DC or Dominic Cruz. I couldn't care less what they're doing right now. All I care about is making weight, being in shape, and beating Dan Henderson, you know, and I want to do it in style. I want to put on a performance that people aren't going to forget for a long time. I want to remind everybody that he was enhanced in that fight. This isn't even a rematch. I don't even see this fight as a rematch, to be honest, because the two versions of ourselves are so completely different. I'm much better, improved mentally and physically. Dan Henderson is kind of the opposite. He's not on the steroids. He's older. If you look at the body, the muscle mass that he has in that first fight compared to now, it looks like two different fighters. So it's almost unfair to call this a rematch. This is Michael Bisping 2016 versus Dan Henderson 2016, you know, because it's two completely different fights.
He said after his fight he's going to have a pig roast. Do you have any plans?
Well, the fight's happening in Manchester, so after the fight, well, we'll go out for a nice breakfast, I guess. So we're going out for dinner. We'll go out for a nice breakfast. I'll go see some family. I'll go see my old mum. I haven't seen her for a while, so I'll go see my mum and dad, and you know, go back to the old little town where I'm from, see some friends, eat some food, drink some beers, fly home, do it all over again.
Mike, as an analyst, taking yourself out of this fight, how would you break down this fight stylistically?
You know, listen, Dan Henderson is still, you know, he's still going to be respected, 100%. I think the advantages that I feel that I have now, I had in the first fight. I feel that I'm a better striker. I feel I'm faster and all these things. I was that in the first fight, but it doesn't mean Dan Henderson's not effective. If you look at his style, he isn't a polished striker, far from it, but he's still very, very effective. Of course, I found that out firsthand. I think I'm faster. I've got the longer reach. I've got the better footwork. Dan's just tough. He's tough as they come, and he'll come forward and he'll swing. He's got nothing to lose in this fight. That makes him very, very dangerous. Kind of like my fight with Rockhold. You know, I had nothing to lose in that. Nothing, so I just went out there and swung. Fingers crossed I get the job done, and I did it. Dan Henderson can do the same, so I'm assuming as soon as this fight starts, he's going to rush me, you know, and hope that one of those shots connects, because if they do, we all know he has the power. So I've got to be careful. I've got to weather the storm to start. And, you know, be patient, pick him apart, you know, get my rhythm, get my timing, and then as the fight progresses, look to take him out of there. But, you know, I'm very, very confident, but still, you know, that right hand that he has, it's very powerful, and he also has good timing. He has very, very good timing with it, and a lot of experience. And one thing about Dan, he will never quit. There's no quitting that guy. Unless I knock him out or the referee drags me off him, he will not stop. So, you know, everybody knows that about Dan.
Seems like your time right now, obviously you won the belt against Rockhold, and your very first defense is against you know, a guy who knocked you out at UFC 100. Like, how great is it to be able to have that first defense against an opponent that you have that history with?
It makes it interesting. It really does. You know, I mean, of course, when you look at the middleweight landscape, you see there's many. You know, there's lots of worthy contenders. There really is, but. You know, this is interesting. You know, the UFC came to me with the match, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. I've always wanted a rematch with Henderson. All fighters want rematches against anybody that they've lost to, so there's nothing new there. And I think with him coming off the big knockout of Lombard, which was a fantastic win, you know, on the same event, you know, it makes sense, you know, and I think there was a lot of public demand for it. The UFC kind of teased it. I know Joe Rogan teased it, and the response was great. So I was like, yeah, 100%. And in Manchester, yeah, let's do it.
Was it difficult juggling duties between the movie role that you just finished and training camp?
You know, to be honest, it wasn't. But so I said to myself going in, when I knew I was doing this movie, because I signed to do the movie before I signed to do the fight. So I'd signed the contract, so, you know, I had to be there. But I said to myself, oh, it's okay, it's only 2 weeks. That'll be a blessing in disguise. If anything, it will stop me from overtraining. But of course, in theory, you think that, and then when I was there in London, I was starting to freak out. I was thinking, shit, I should be in the gym. I shouldn't be doing this. But it worked out perfectly. It was absolutely right, because I still trained whilst I was there. A trainer of mine, Darren Morris, came down, helped me in London. I'd film all day, I'd train in the evening. And it forced me to step off the gas a little bit, because I came back, and I've still got 2 more weeks. I could go right now. It's crazy. People do these 8-week training camps in MMA. There's absolutely no need for it. There's no need. People overtrain. I wish I knew now what I knew 10 years ago. It's amazing that I won so many fights because I used to consistently overtrain. If you look at my body in the Dan Henderson fight, I'm skinny as hell. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing, by the way, when I watched that first fight. I'm so skittish. I'm mentally, physically beaten in that fight. So, yeah.
When's the last time you watched that fight?
I watched it one time at the start of when the fight first got signed, and my wife was sat next to me. She was watching it, and I was like, "Oh my God, Jesus, turn this off! Turn this off!"
Why did you watch it?
It just didn't even. Well, of course, I wanted to watch it to see what happened. It was 7 years ago,
Okay.
but it didn't resemble me at all. I mean, I'd had many fights going into that fight, you know, and that's not how I fight. And it was just, I was disgusted with my performance. I was embarrassed. It was horrible. We all have it, you know. I'm sure you guys have written shitty articles. You know, we all have a bad night at the office.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. We all have bad nights at the office. That was a good night for Dan. It was a terrible night for me. You know, what can you say?
Mike, in the last fight in your belt, you didn't have time to prepare a fight for Hawk Hold, specifically for Hawk Hold.
Sure.
Do you think that's the lesson for this fight also? It's more to trust about your fight.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've come to a point now in my career where I just focus on what I do. You know, I've been, like, I could take the Rockhold fight, I could take this fight, I could take any fight now on a moment's notice because I've trained my whole life. That's why I don't need an 8-week training camp, because it's not like I've got to learn more jiu-jitsu, I've got to learn how to punch or kick, you know what I mean? So I just focus on myself, just get ready, and hopefully do the business, hopefully get the win.
So UFC is looking for a main event for UFC 205 in New York.
Yes.
Things go well. No.
Hey, sign me up. I like quick turnarounds. What's the date on that? November 12th?
November 12th. You got it. So you know already.
Yeah. It's my job to know. I'm going to be working as an analyst for that event. I can't. Hey, all right. For the record, if they want me to fight again at UFC 205, I'll do it. If they want me to fight at 206, I'll do it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Half of the UFC roster are pussies. Okay, I'll fight anyone, any place, anytime. I stick to that. And if you want to pay me again in a few weeks' time for the same training camp, I'm your man.
You're talking about being an analyst. What are your thoughts between Tyron Woodley and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson?
Interesting fight. Wonderboy's looked incredible. He's looked phenomenal. You know, it looks like, you know, he's just a very, very difficult puzzle to struggle. Of course, if you look at Tyron, though, there's an incredibly fast, powerful wrestler / boxer. So I don't know. It's an interesting clash of styles. If you're asking for who's going to win it, a prediction, I have no idea. I do know that Tyron Woodley said he wanted to fight me the other day, so if anything, I'll lean towards Wonderboy. I'm only kidding. I don't know. That's a great fight. I'm excited to see it.